All right. Hello, friends. Welcome back to day 4 of the uh, really cool live streaming series called Clean Architecture in Next.js. And I got some goodies for you today. It's going to be fun. Nickname, hello. How's it going? Yeah, we have an interesting agenda for today. If you watched last stream, which was back on Monday, a couple of days ago, we started off with DTOs, removing the DTOs, and then we changed our mind because turns out that we actually need DTOs. So we brought back the DTOs, and guess what? We're gonna remove DTOs again. Okay, which yeah, I changed my mind again, and I'll show you why. Actually, let me do this. Let me go here. I have an agenda. I'm ready. So I'm gonna zoom in. This is my Discord server. If you haven't joined the server so far, go to creatures.sh, scroll down to the React channel, and this is where I am just writing, stuff that I'm figuring out as I'm figuring out the things. So yeah, on today's agenda, first I want to recap handling the errors. So we did we put some more thought into how we handle errors in the architecture. So we're gonna recap that part. Again, we're gonna replace the DTOs with Zod schemas, and I'll show you why. There's an issue with that with DTOs. There's no issue; it works. We just need an extra step, right? Then I noticed a circular dependency issue in the service locator because I did some refactoring yesterday. So we're going to talk about circular dependency issues, like overall what circular dependency issues are and how we can break out the circular dependency in our service locator. And if time permits, we're going to start with unit tests. All right. So yeah, again, join creatures.sh. It's a pretty chill server. And let's start with today's agenda. Recap handling errors. All right, actually I didn't prepare for this. Change kitty profile, screencasting, reloads. There we go. Much better now. Okay, so the way that we handle errors, and I'm gonna go to the server action now, is that, for example, in the repository, and this is the collections repository, we throw custom errors. And we do need to figure out a better way for the errors. But yeah, in the repository, we are interacting with the database directly. And because we're using Superbase, we get these error objects back. If there are errors, we throw them. Otherwise, we just return the DTO or the Zod schema in this case. But we'll talk about that later. And most of the errors originate from here. There are some errors in the service layer. So let me actually bring eraser again, because this was the architecture, right? We were in the persistence layer. That was like the lowest layer. And database errors originate from here. We sometimes have other types of errors, like unauthorized errors in the business layer, right? So that is the service. For example, yeah, check this out. This is the collection service. We have a get collection method that we're using in our server actions or API handlers, etc. Get collection is here. We try to get the collection through the repository, but if it's not ours, we throw a new error. And this is supposed to be a custom error, like an unauthorized error, I believe. Yes, I do have that. So we are throwing an unauthorized error from the service layer, from the business layer, right? And this is all because we want to handle errors in the presentation layer, right? So when errors happen, exceptions happen, they bubble up, and it depends, like the way we handle them usually depends. I'm not going to say always, can be generalizing, but usually depends on the UI, right? For example, in this case, we have let's say we have a add link to collection, right? Or let me see, let me get a different type of update collection, create collection. Yeah, let's go with create collection, right? We have a create collection, and this is a server action. This has a lot to do with Next.js. This is a Next.js feature. That means it is a presentation feature, right? It has to do with the UI itself, with the website itself. So we have the create collection here. We are invoking the create collection method from the service, and either the service can throw or the repository, which is like a layer deeper, can throw as well. And we want to handle that here, right? For example, in all of the cases, we want to report the error to Sentry so we can pick it apart later and figure out why that was happening. But because we want to let the UI know, cannot create collection, this is the reason, right? We have to handle the error here in the presentation layer. If this was an API route, if this wasn't a server action, we want to handle that in a different way. So instead of throwing a ZSA error, and ZSA error is the error that comes from the library that we're using for server actions, we would just return an HTTP status code and an error message, right? Because it's not a server action. It's actually a standard route handler, API route handler. So that's why we figured out that it's the best way to handle errors is probably in the presentation layer. But because we were gonna do that, we started creating these specific errors, like custom errors. And these custom errors, I was doing the refactoring, as I mentioned yesterday, they started to get a bit tedious. So if I go here, maybe this is not the worst one, but let's say, yeah, add link to collection error, remove link from collection error, update links order error, get collection link error. Yeah, these are all copy paste boilerplates that doesn't really, I mean, sure, we can, it's a different type of error, and therefore we can do these things, instance of. But do we actually need to, distinguish between, let me go back there. Do we actually need to distinguish between them? Like, for example, between add link to collection or update links order, right? Those are all operations. That's what I'm thinking about. Those are all operations. And maybe we should just have like an operation error that, gets invoked, whatever, either in the service or presentation layer. And if we catch an operation layer, operation error, we send that back. We're going to wrap it with ZSA error or whatever type of error you want to return. And we'll just pass the message back to the client. And in that case, we're not going to have all of these, different error classes that pretty much do the same thing. They just have a different name. So we're not going to do that, yeah. But we're going to lose, for example, if this was a more complex application, for example, the create collection is fairly simple, right? But what if creating a collection involved a lot of operations and a lot of doing a lot of stuff, right? I don't know, like ask the ChatGPT API, then get another piece of data or information from a different service, or try to create something else before creating a collection, right? If it gets complicated, and if you just receive an operation error, you wouldn't know where that operation error came from, right? But do we need to know in that case, that's what I'm thinking. You know, I don't think we need to know where the operation came, even though it's like a complex, for example, the create collection method, even though it triggers like a complex set of operations, we can report it to Sentry and we'll see the error later on. We can grab the message and then just, you know, throw the ZSA error or return an error object, or, you know, you can do, in this case, you can do whatever you want to do in terms of error handling. You can do that. You can let the client know what the reason was for the error. And I guess that's it, right? So I'm not like super set on this. I guess we can try to keep it simple. Instead of creating all of these custom errors like create collection error, you know, yada yada yada, why don't we just put everything in like an operation error, and we'll just know, right? We'll just see if that is, you know, preventing us from actually handling more specific cases. Because I feel like we started way too like over engineering this part with the you know, with the all of the individual specific errors, but I don't think we need to, you know, I don't think we need to have that specific errors. An operation error is okay, and unauthorized error is a different thing. For example, we have an authentication error, and this one is being used when we try to log in, but we can't log in because our username password are different, or because the user doesn't exist. I don't know. These are authentication, and this is the unauthorized error. And that means I'm trying to update a collection or link that does not belong to me, right? I am authenticated, but I am unauthorized to do that operation, or whatever, you know, whatever I'm trying to do. So unauthorized error makes sense for that. And I like this. Now we have an unauthorized error. We just throw it whenever, and we can handle that because it's a specific type of error. If it's an operation error, we'll just, you know, throw whatever the message was. So I want to spend some time refactoring this whole bit, create that operation error, like this one, and then, you know, replace all of the custom ones with just an operation error. So I'm going to try, and I'm going to create a file in the shared/errors folder, and we'll just say this common errors.ts. And I'm going to paste this unauthorized error, and I'm going to rename it as operation error. So we have operation error here. I'm just going to delete these, like the files themselves. These ones as well. Yes, I did leave a comment. So when we go on stream, we talk about this. These don't make sense. We should probably have more generic errors, right? Yeah, let's keep. There we go. Create link, update link, you know, all of these things. We don't actually need them. So there's going to be a lot of errors now in the actions and also in the repositories. So we're going to start off with the repositories. I'm going to delete these, go down, and instead of create collection, we'll say operation error. That's it. Do we have more? Yes, we do have more. Operation error. And that's it for here. Oh, there we go. Operation error. And we don't need that to do now. Make sure that all of them, yes, here as well. Operation error, failed to get collection. That's the cause. So these messages should be more specific, because we're going to be using this message to convey them like the reason why something happened when the user tried to do something. So operation error. This is the get collection, failed to get collection. And then we can say the reason, but we already do have this for example, where we have get collection, we use get collection in the, let's say, this is the repository, get public collection, and then don't, wait, hold on, get collection. Collections service dot get collection. Yeah, so this is the links service. Okay, this one in particular is only being used in the collection link service, but I bet it's going to be used in the page as well. So yeah, nevertheless, I think we do need to say error.message here. And I bet it's pretty much always going to be the case. There we go. We have a creation error here, but I don't like having specific names. So I'm just going to get these and rename them to error. That's it. Get collection, error.message. Yeah, again. Error.message. All right, we have some messages in the chat. Let's check them out. Hey, nickname, how's it going? Hey, Yasin, welcome. Chinmay, I'm struggling with Android development. Can you give me an advice? Not in this stream. And I've been off Android for at least like 2 years. So I'm the rustiest person you need to ask for Android. Sorry about that. But you can join the creatures.sh Discord and maybe someone there knows. I know at least one person who knows. Arab, hello, sir. Hello. Is this repo on GitHub? There's going to be a different repo on GitHub, not this one. Hey, Velenov, how's it going? 3 streams in a row. Yeah. Thanks for joining this, man. Having fun. All right. Yeah, there.message is, and now you can see that this is, becoming copy pastable, which I appreciate. It makes it better for refactoring and stuff. Yeah. You can say this can be a function that takes in an error and does the if inside, and if it, if it exists, like basically these 3 lines of code. But I'm not gonna bother writing a function for this scenario because I think it's like too trivial. If there were more to it, sure. Yeah. Hey, Kevin. Welcome back. Yeah, errors are going to be thrown from the, for example, these ones will be just operation errors that contain the message. Let's move on. Of course, look how many errors we have. Too much, if you ask me. This is going to be an operation error, and because this is the first one, let's bring the import, and I'm just going to copy this. Let me just save it. Yeah. Again, paste here, copy. Paste here, copy. There we go. Paste, copy, and many more. Paste, copy. This is one more place where DTOs, like I had to create a new DTO. But yeah, we'll talk about this later. Okay, that was the collection link collections, and we just need the links repository. And this is not even finished yet. I still have some, oops, no. Operation error. Bring it in, save it. Okay, and that's about it. Yeah, this is not, this method hasn't been implemented yet. Okay, but all repositories are throwing operation errors now. Let's go to the services, and services are meant to throw either authentication error or authorization error. Kevin asks, can you show the common error class where you have written the code to handle? yeah, check it out. Just the same, it's just the same error with just one name, operation error, and we're like throwing it whenever, you know, is suitable. Yeah, but these are all authentication errors. Let's go to the collections service. There are no errors here, and I feel like we should, but we'll see. Collection link service. This is basically the toggle, the visibility toggle. Let me run this. Run dev. Make sure that Docker is running. Yes, it is. Nice. Vitest says in the ZSA procedure, you can have an error shaper, so you can check. And if the error is an instance of your custom error, for example, pass it to the client. But if it's another kind, send a basic message. Yeah, we're pretty much doing that in the oh, look at that. Yeah, actions. Yeah, we can't actually run this in terminal. Blah blah blah. Kitty, Apple scripts. Oh, sure, it's my terminal anyways. Yeah, let's just continue. We can just run this now. You have too much errors. These, I feel like these should throw because this is the service, and the service needs to check for authorization. So we are missing, you know, authorization, unauthorized errors here, but we're gonna do that later. I know that there are some errors here in some of these services that do not exist now. There we go. Unauthorized error. Unauthorized error. So that's good. That's good. Yeah, so I guess actions. Let's go to collections, actions. There we go. See, create collection error. Because we're handling these here, we just need to delete these and replace them with our operation. What ORM are you using? Superbase. Also HighPutty. Yeah, and FTA, this is where we're handling. We're not using the error shaper. And we just say, try this. If not, you know, if the instance is of operation error, throw it. Otherwise, this is like a generic error and just pass the error message. Did I commit my nvim config? I see you changed him. No, this is the, it's a newish one, but yeah. So yeah, this is how we handle this. Let's continue. Operation error. There we go. No more errors here. I mean, I know that we need to, you know, define these because these are just, yeah, cannot update collection is, you know, which is good for the update collection. But for delete, we don't actually say cannot delete collection. But yeah. Hey, what is that? Ooh, delete it. Yeah, so just save this. Let's go to links, actions. There we go. We have a couple of errors that do not exist anymore. Operation error. Nice. And this one again. And oh, one more. Oh, there we go. You see? Because I copy pasted that block, it used to be update link error, but this is actually the delete link. Here we go. Yeah, I feel like operation error, like a vague operation error, because it's thrown by us, it can be, you know, it can be as vague. And this case is something that we do not actually handle. So reporting to Sentry might also mean report this one, but not this one, because the operation error is most likely a bad request, right? A user tries to do something that they're not supposed to do, right? For some reason. It's cool that we, you know, it is okay that we also report those to Sentry so that we can see, if we have bugs in, I don't know, in the, get methods, and why the user is actually able to, cause the operation errors. But these are definitely ones that you should send to Sentry, because these are not, these are like unknown types of errors. So some of these might not need to go to Sentry, but these definitely need to go to Sentry, just to have like an idea. Okay, so that's about it for the errors. We have one operation error. Let me try to build this app now. We have one vague operation error that, just basically tells us this is manually thrown by us. So just let the user know. FTA. But in this case, if you throw the generic message and you're showing this message in a toasts, the client will be some error message from Superbase in the basic one. I know. We do need to test that first and see how the error message looks like. If we need to, handle that in a specific way. But yeah, this will show the Superbase message. Yeah. Just don't know how we can, handle them before, going in and actually seeing this. So I'm gonna run dev now and hope that we have the app running. And then we're gonna need to try to cause an error. So collection unpublished, these are looking nice. Let's go to the test one. There we go. So we have 3 of these that are nuts. It says link visibility changed. Yeah, sorry, you can't see that from my camera. But yeah, I got the toast here. Maybe I should put them in the center or something like that. But yeah, link visibility. Yeah, we need to trigger. There's the DTO issue, and we're gonna work on that later. But I guess we need to trigger. An error. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go to the collections. Actually, it's just one collection. I'm gonna go to the links. Copy this link fingerprint, which is the let's just copy the TikTok one because I'm not actually using it anywhere. And when we try to do the visible change, I'm actually going to hard code that URL so we can see how the error message looks like. Okay, so here we are. Collection actions. Visibility, it's not here. Links actions. Visibility, there we go. Toggle visibility. So where we have the link PK, which stands for nope, that's not it. There we go. Yeah, I'm just gonna hard code the primary key, which is the fingerprint. I know I need to change that, but let's see now. Can we write return directly inside try? Oh yeah, we want to revalidate path. Yeah. If you're interested, I highly recommend you see all the streams. It's highly available. Oh yeah, FTA. Thanks. Yeah, this is day 4. We've come a long way, and we have a lot to cover as well. Okay, so toggle link visibility. It's always going to try to toggle the TikTok link visibility to the collection that we have, but we don't have the TikTok here. So I'm gonna hide my camera view. Zoom in a little bit. There we go. Issues. See how everything looks squished? I need to fix that. But yeah, I'm gonna try to toggle Twitter. It's going to actually try to toggle TikTok. So let's see the error. Fail to delete link. Okay, see, this is a wrong message here. We're not trying to delete the link. We're actually trying to update the link visibility, and the title comes from the client and the message comes from the backend. Okay, so let's see why. Okay, I picked the one error where I'm not actually sending the message. What a joke. Okay, we have a message here, so we need to pass error.message. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do here. I believe it's the same. It's okay in the collection sections. Just double check. Collections, actions. Yeah. I'm probably tripping. Oh, there we go. Cannot create collection, reason, bam. Okay. I like that. I like that. But let's see how this one looks like. So I'm going to hide my camera view again and hit bam. Yeah. JSON object requested, multiple or no rows returned. This is not for the user. Yeah. This is not for the user. So FTA, you're right. We do need to, let the user know in a different way. So we do have this for us. We can send this to Central. We can see JSON object requested, multiple or no rows returned. This means that we're trying to do a select in the database, but we get no, we don't have any rows returned, right? This is like this would be a 404 because that combination does not exist. So yeah, you see that? Interesting. That makes me rethink this whole thing. If we can distinguish a 404, we might as well return that to the user, right? In this case, operation error is just an operation error. Cannot create collection, but that can be this, right? So we have an operation error. We cannot pass the error message from a few layers below because it doesn't make sense for the user in this case. But then how do we handle this? Let's go, for example, let's go to links actions. This was the set visibility. We go here. The relation is going to fail. So if we go to collection link repository, get relation, there we go. We're trying to get the relation. And this is a new service that I created yesterday, and it's basically for the junction table. So if you want to take a look, I have a junction table, right? We have collections, we have links, and I have a collection underscore link junction table where I am keeping the relations between the collection and link. Maybe the name is bad, but still. And it has references to the collection and link fingerprints, and that is the primary key, basically. But it also keeps the visible true or false and the order for that collection, right? So for example, one link can be added to multiple collections. You do need a junction table to achieve that functionality. And because the visibility and the order for this link is unique to this collection, because it might appear in a different collection with a different visibility settings and with a different order, that's why we have this junction table here. So that's what this repository and service is. It's just a junction table where we keep track of the relationship between a specific link and a specific collection, right? So that is the get relation. In this case, it just returns that relation. And if there is an error, I believe we need to be more descriptive here in order to achieve, a good error handling and error reporting. Because if there's an error, just throw the error and that's it. But maybe this is the place where we actually need to get into and try to figure out what type of error is this, right? If this is yeah, no data error, then that's gonna be it needs to be handled differently. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put a breakpoint here. I'm gonna stop this process, and I'm actually going to run the debugger from NeoVim so that we can actually take a peek at, what's going on here. Going back to this part. Yeah. Let's see. Click there. There's the breakpoint. I'm curious to see the error. And check this out. Here's the error. The error has a code with PGRST, which is Postgres 116. And the details is the result contains 0 rows. Enrique, thanks for the sub. The result contains 0 rows. So we do have an opportunity, to branch out more, get more into detail here and throw more specific errors. So the operation error can be like the last bottom line, fallback type of error, but we can create like not found error or something like that, right? Because we get the data here. We can just say if there's an error, cool, and then we're gonna dive into it, right? We can even throw a switch in there based on the code. If the code is Postgres 116, that means it's basically not found, right? Whatever we're trying to query from the database does not actually exist in the database, and it's an error. It's not actually the data being null, it's actually an error. So this means that we need to find a list that's why the message was there before. Okay, let's see. Superbase or Postgres? These are Postgres. Or we can even try searching for PGRST 116. PGRST 116. Let's see. This is actually Superbase, right? PGRST 116. Again, this is Superbase. Okay, so these are Superbase errors. Most likely. All right, let's see that. Superbase Postgres errors lists. Error codes. There we go. Not these ones. PGRST. Well, yeah, this is like Postgres, and this is like the REST client for the Postgres database. Yeah, it's not the database itself, is like the thing that converts that to a REST. I think it's like a driver, something like that. Yeah. Well, it might be the case that, these errors are actually here. Here we go. And their corresponding HTTP statuses as well. Okay, nice. These are prefixed though. Let's see, 116. There we go. PGRST 202. Connection API requests 116. The HTTP status code is 406. More than one or no items were returned when requesting a singular response, because I have .single in my query. So 406, what is that? HTTP HTTP 406. Not acceptable response. Not acceptable. Okay, that's the actual status code. So I guess we can, because we're using Superbase in this case, we're always gonna get these errors unless Superbase decide to not use Postgres under the hood, and there are new error codes. But yeah, we can just handle these because these are basically fixed, right? And now using these codes, we can actually throw a more, throw a better more descriptive errors. So instead of just operation error, yeah, we're like slowly finding the good balance. One service can need another service to be constructed. How do you approach the need to use other service functions in another? Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that later. Yeah, that would be. I just ran into dependency, a circular dependency. So yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Yeah. So in this case, and you know what? I'm not actually gonna do this here. I'm just gonna do switch on the error.code and throw more specific errors, but not as specific as before. I'm just gonna put this here so I can refactor this later on. But yeah, instead of just throwing a vague operation error, we can still have common errors, because I guess errors should be common errors. There should not be like an error class of a specific error that gets thrown only at one place. I think that calls for a refactoring. You know, if you have an error and it gets thrown only on that specific place, and there is no chance that it's going to appear as a throw sentence in a different place, you don't need an error, or you need to handle that in a different way. So instead of operation error being like as vague as operation error, we can throw a not found error, or we can throw, you know, something like that. And we're gonna put the cause here because we need the actual error to bubble up, but the message is not gonna be error.message. And change the message to be more specific, hard-coded. Okay, yeah. Now we're not going to just pass through the message. We are going to say, in this case, we know that we're trying to get the relation. We'll just say relation not found, or a combination of this link and this collection does not exist, or something like that, you know. We can throw that here, and we can pass that to the UI while we have the original error, and we can send that to Sentry, and I believe that's going to work nicely, right? Cool. I'm not going to go now. We're gonna move on to the next thing that we want to do, which is the DTOs. We're getting rid of DTOs again, but this is what we're going to be doing. Nice. Yeah. Okay. DTOs. You definitely saw that. The thing that I tried to do. Oh, hold on a second. Collections, actions. Was it here? The hard-coded TikTok link. No, it was actually links actions. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. Okay, so check this out. We just refresh this. Yeah, we are returning the updated from this server action, and the updated is a collection link DTO. Fine. It looks good, right? And if we click on, for example, on Twitter, enable it, yeah, link visibility change. If I hit refresh, everything is working nicely. But there's an issue, and we missed this in the previous stream. This error right here. And we had this before, by the way. We had this. We thought that we fixed it with the toJSON method on the DTO, but turns out that we didn't test it properly, so it's not fixed. This error says only plain objects can be passed to client components from server components. Objects with the two JSON methods are not supported. Yeah. This error means that we are returning something that is not serializable, right? And it says only plain objects. So I did some refactoring, and we do need to use, for that reason, we do need to use Zod, because we have validation out of the box, and we also can do .parse and return the plain object that is requiring from us. So I'm going to go to, let's see where that was. I think it was, I think it was in DTOs. Not here. It was here. Yeah, so collection link schema. This is basically the same DTO, but instead of, a class with private setters and public getters and then having these from DB and to JSON, we're actually going to use Zod. The negative aspect is that, this used to be just plain JavaScript and we liked it, but this is now dependent on Zod. But Zod is still JavaScript. You can use it anywhere. So it doesn't, it introduces a new dependency, but it doesn't cause like major issues, if you ask me. So we're going to use Zod. We're going to export the schema itself and also the type. And we're not just going to have one DTO. We're actually going to have multiple DTOs. And let me see where we use this in a lot of time, in a lot of places, but I'm going to go to links actions, and I'm actually going to refactor this whole block. So instead of doing collection link, I'm going to bring in collection link type, which is from the Zod schema. I'm going to go into this service. And there's the updated set visibility. Yeah, there is the updated. The updated comes from the repository. So we need to update the repository first. Go here, collection link type, bring it in. Go to, this was the collection link repository, and update the set visibility to actually, instead of collection link DTO, here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring in collection link schema from the same file, from the DTO file, but we're going to rename that later. .parse data. Okay. When we say .parse, it's going to return us that specific type. We can go back to the service now. And we'll see the updated is actually not the DTO anymore, but it's this plain object, right? So now when we go to the links actions, the updated is going to be correctly typed. And when we say return updated, we're not going to see this error anymore. So let's confirm that. I'm going to hit refresh. Oh, my keyboard is acting weird. All right, hit Twitter. No error, but we still see link visibility changed. You see that because now we're not actually sending a class instance. We're actually sending a plain object. That's what it asked us. That's what it asked from us. And like we can just go crazy. It's never gonna show up. There's the old one. But yeah, so we need to refactor all of the DTOs and actually convert them to Zod schemas and use the parse method to, to avoid leaking any, information, like any properties that are meant to be hidden. from the user. So there we go. Figure out the type, because we have other types. And yeah, that's one more thing and we need to do when it comes to converting DTOs, or like moving DTOs from DTOs to Zod schemas. We have types now. This type comes from this schema. Okay, and if we go to utils types, we also have these types, and these types are coming from the database. So we have, hey Gabriel, how's it going? Welcome. So we have database types right here, but we also have the Zod schema instead of the DTO, right? We need to think about how we want to handle this. I guess we can mark these somehow. Like we can say output schema, not really, because we have output schemas for server actions now. We need to find a good name instead of DTOs, or maybe we should just like, should we call them DTOs, but have them be a type instead of a class? Would that make sense? You know, calling them DTOs but not being class. I guess, yeah, I mean, DTO does not have to be a class, right? We should not be like religious if the first DTOs that were, you know, classes, that we need to keep them as classes. DTOs is like a data transfer object. The schema itself and the parse method gives us that data transfer object, right? It's a literal plain object that we're going to use to transfer the data back to the client. It's still a DTO, right? The purpose for this object is that it's a DTO, it's a data transfer object. It's whether if it's class or not, we don't really care, right? Yeah, we can actually keep the DTO naming, but instead of classes, we'll just export them. We'll export two things: the schema and the type. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. We don't need that. We're also not gonna need that. And I'm just gonna scrap the whole class. There we go. So export collection link schema. This is gonna be DTO schema, and this is just going to be, instead of type, this is going to be collection link DTO. We'll keep the naming. Okay, I like this now. Yeah, and there's gonna be like multiple of these. This is the generic one, but there's gonna be one more for the one more in the page that actually returns us the collection link object, including like an array of links where they have the order and the visibility. Yeah, but we'll figure that later. We need the collection DTO now. Grab this. Collection DTO is going to be z. Let's bring in z.object. And we need to do basically this. Let's try to hack this. Cut this out. Z dot string. Nice. And this just needs to be, dot optional, delete until the comma, and that's it. So I can just scrap this whole class, scrap this as well, and also export type collection. Oh, hold on a second. Collection DTO schema. The type was the DTO itself. We'll just do z infer type of collection DTO schema. Beautiful. Okay, that was quick. I really need to learn Vim. I too need to learn more Vim. Yeah, it's really powerful. There we go. We have an index here. We don't need that anymore. Let's get into the links. Scrap that, scrap that. I'm gonna bring Z manually for some reason and do export const link DTO schema equals z.object. Bring all of these. Cut this out. Z dot and append the object notation and scrap this, and there we go. Nice and easy and quick. Export type link DTO z.infer type of link DTO schema. Users is just a type. We don't have a DTO for the users, but this pretty much got rid of the classic DTOs, and now we have ZOD enabled DTOs. I use the mouse a lot more than I would like to. Yeah. I wish we can just use computers without the mouses. But that's gonna like change the moment when you actually want to use, let's see, when you actually want to use like a Figma to do some graphic stuff. Is that using a plugin? Yeah, it is a plugin for the multi-cursor. I don't remember how it's the plugin name. Let me see. Multi, yeah, Vim Visual Multi. That's the name. Check it out. And my beard will also grow. Yeah. That's how I got mine. Okay. We want to do, check this out. Schema. No. What are you doing now? Parse. There we go. See? Add schema and replace from DB with parse, and that's it. There we go. Add schema here. Parse here. Done. Easy fix. Schema. Change in word. Parse. And this is the other one. Let's actually make this. This needs to be a different schema. It needs to have the visible and the order, and also like return the link. And this is supposed to be an array. Okay. Alexander, thanks for the sub. And this also needs to be an array. So an array with this block right here. And the link itself is, I got an issue here because when you do this query, Superbase, you see, I'm also doing a join table right here. So from the collection link, give me the visible and the order, right? But also bring the, like join the link table and pick out everything. Where the collection is this. So basically this means give me all of the links that belong to this, this collection with this fingerprint, and then also join the link table. So I can also, so I can have the URLs, the fingerprints, the labels, etc. This is being used in that public page, this one. Of course, yeah, collection DTO there. But yeah, we had a page. If you had sh, let's say, if this one exists. Yeah, see? Hello stream, this is fun. We created this collection last stream and I added my YouTube channel here. And this page is the public collection page. This is where we actually use this this functionality here. Yeah. And because we do that, the data, see that we have a link and then it says or null. And I hate that this is happening. I bet there's a valid reason for that. Meaning like you're trying to join the link table. Let's see. Maybe we should be more specific. And the parentheses and the star is actually like give me everything from the link table. The whole thing. We don't necessarily need created by. We just need like these two. We don't even need the fingerprint, just the label and the URL. But the link is nevertheless going to be null. So if we build the Zod schema, we need to take that into account as well. Or make that, or like filter out, apply a filter that does that. And this is a nice message. Replace this with a Zod schema because blah. All right, let's see. Will it be faster? Yeah, I don't care about performance right now. We can do that later. Let's see. We need the Zod schema here. And I'm just going to build it here. No, we're going to move it to the DTOs. And oh, it's not going to be an object. No, it's going to be an array of objects. They're going to have a visible, which is a Boolean. They're going to have an order, which is a number. And they are going to have a link, which is an object. And it's not going to be optional. And we'll have all of these created. I'm just going to add them. You know what? I'm not going to add them. This is the place where we actually fix that. We just need the label, z-string, and the URL. So this, check this out. What if the database changes? What if this changes? What if, for example, we have one schema over there? Is there a way to, you know, somehow like we can merge schemas with Zod? Sure, that's going to like allow us to reuse parts of the schemas. But do we get into that? Is that like too tedious? No, I'm just gonna leave it for now. But when you like get yourself in this type of situation where you're thinking, should I, because this is a different table, right? The link is a different table. There is already most likely a schema for that. Should we like pick out that part and merge it so that if that part changes, we also going to change this part? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, actually, yeah. Like if we keep the whole link, then we can just merge the link DTO. Let me show you. I think it's gonna work. So let's go back to the DTOs in the collection link. And I'm gonna paste it here. Export const. This is going to be collection. Hey, have a good day to you. Thanks for joining. Collection links. This naming is weird. I don't like them. But this basically contains all of the links for a given collection, right? And we have a collection link. We have a collection link because this is the junction, right? I need a better name for the junction. This is the relation. collection link relation DTO, and this is the collection links multiple because it's an array. All right. Export type collection links DTO equals Z. Infer the type of collection links DTO schema. So we'll go back and we're just going to say, we don't care about this. We're going to say, oh, we do need that block. Return collection links DTO schema dot parse data, but just import it first. And now we're gonna be in a situation where we need to pick out that or null, right? So that data needs to change more, like change furthermore. And this is what I used to do. Let's see, up fingerprint. It was here, I believe. Was it here? Turns out it's not here. Oh, actually it is here, yeah. Okay, but it's not changed. Let's go to the fingerprint page, which is that public thingy. And if we scroll down, check it out. We have displayed links where I'm filtering out some stuff, and I'm also doing, you know, doing the map. But let's see, collection ready. Links. They are actually, they can be null. We don't want nulls. This is a different thing. Like this is a display links, and this is something for the service, not for the repository. The repository should probably just loop through the array and just, you know, filter out all of the or nulls, you know. So here's our data. There's an or null here and an or null here. The filtered data is gonna be data.map. Actually, data.filter. We need two filters now. Filter out all the ones that are not null. Of course. No, it's null or undefined. What do you... yeah, that meaning if for example, if there's an error, we want to throw the error here. Okay. Let's see now. Is data undefined? No, it's not gonna be undefined. That's fine. So we have that. Oh wait, we actually don't need d.link. That's the filter. Give me all of the data entries where the link property is not null, and then it still returns the link or null. How's that possible? So this array is always going to have the links not be null. Interesting. Am I missing something? Yeah, same issue. Same issue is happening here. Data is an array, items, and we want to filter out the items that do not have a link property. Is this the... Nope, still. Okay. How do we handle this now? This is a Superbase join. Sorry about that. This is a Superbase join, and it's always returning us the null. Yeah, it is TypeScript being silly and not understanding the filter, but this is always going to be. Well, what if we do a map and like map out the whole object manually? Is that what it wants? Visible d.visible order d.order. This is dumb, but let's just like for the fun. And then link is d.link. Alicia, thanks for the sub. It's null again, you see? Unbelievable. Ah. What if we do this? Oh, d.link created ad. There we go. Oh. See that? Ugh. Not cool. So filter out all the ones that are not null and like map them. I don't know. Come on, TypeScript. Okay. AI time. Let's do. Come on now. AI toggle copilot chat. There we go. Let's see. Filter the data array. This is copilot chat in NeoVim, by the way. It works. So filter the data array to only return items where the link property is not null. Let's see. It actually did the same, you see? Yeah, filter data equals data.filter where the d.link is not null. We actually did that. In this line, filter is a method that's being called on the data array. Filter takes a function as an argument. We did that, of course. And applies this function to every item in the array. If the function returns true, that item is included in the new array. That's what we're doing. See? That's what we're doing. There's no diff. We literally did the same thing. So even Copilot is not going to help us with this, right? Yeah, Cabral, I bet that's the case. So if we do map and manually construct the link, it is going to be okay. Wait, where's the error now? There we go. There's the error. I thought that something worked, but no. Yeah, like if we do a map, we are going to make sure. That way we can make sure that, you know, the type is correct. But that's like Too manual, you know? Should we do that? So for example, in this scenario, in this map right here, we know that the d.link is going to be okay. So might as well just, cast this as a type. Yeah. There it is. So it's not going to allow us to do that. Will I use CQRS? Most likely not. What is that? We can just recast it. Yeah. Like as collection links DTO. Let's see if that's fair. Yeah, that is fair. There's no way that the filter data does not. Oh, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Yeah, there we go. There's a type wrong here. Okay. I'm gonna say collection links DTO in this case. And this also needs to change in the interface. There we go. Bring that back, go all the way down. This should be okay. It is. What if we say just data? Was it the case? Yeah, that was the case. Oh my god. I'm sorry, y'all. We can just parse that. Yeah. It's all right. It's all right. Moving on. Get links for collection. And this is that new DTO that we did. So we should go. What is the. Oh, yeah. We're still working on it. Let's go back to the page. Swap file. Recover it. Yeah. We still need to do this now. And it should be part of the service. So let's go collection link service. Get links for collection. Oh yeah, this is not even implemented. Cool. I'm going to get the links equals await this dot collection link repository get links for collection fingerprint. Nice. Yeah, only the label and the URL. And technically we can just return links. Should we do some? Oh yeah, get links for collection is one thing, but the service should also bring in the logic for the displayed ones. So for example, if we're logged in and this collection belongs to us, we should get those links back, even though they're hidden or like not visible. But if we're not logged in, we should still get the links, but filter out the ones where the visible is set to false. Okay, so let's bring the authentication service in. Service locator dot get service. There we go. Give me the user now. Await authentication service dot get user. You might notice something that I'm bringing in the authentication service here. We're gonna talk about that. Okay, there's the user. And there is the there are all the links in here as well. We are going to also need the collection service so that we can check if the collection belongs to the user. If it does, that's going to be that flag for us, can see hidden or something like that, you know. And based on that, we're going to filter them out or not. So there's the user, collections service, service locator.get service. Collection is going to be a wait. Collection service.get collection, but not the public one. Just give me the collection. Collection fingerprint, right? Oh, not that. Now we can do can view invisible or hidden. Can view hidden links is going to be if the collection not created by equals to the user not ID. But if we're not logged in, are we gonna have a throw here? We need to check that. If we're not logged in, is this going to throw an exception? We need to make sure that, you know, we don't want to throw, or if we throw, we need to handle that here, right? If the user exists, try catch. If the catch happens, all good. But I just want to make sure that the user is going to be, well, you see, the user is always, so it is going to be a throw. Let me set it up right now. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to let the user, this is going to get inside, and we're also going to let the can view hidden links, and I'm just going to say false initially, but we're going to change that if the user is logged in, you know, etc., all those things. So this part right here, let's say try catch. Inside of the try, I'm gonna move this line right here. It's gonna be a user, which we'll get from the types, or undefined. Does the user exist? It does. If everything's fine, I'm gonna move those things here, and I'm gonna reset this because the user can be logged in, right? If the user is logged in, this is gonna pass. But if the user sees a collection that's not theirs, they cannot view them still, even though they're logged in. So this is it, right? And this is gonna be lazy loaded. I mean, not lazy loaded, but like we're not gonna instantiate the collection service if we're talking about a not logged in user. So there we go. So we have all of the links here, and based on the can view hidden links, we're going to filter them. So we're going to say displayed links are going to be the links that filter. Actually, no, we'll say let displayed links are going to be the links if the user cannot see. And let's also keep this a positive condition. So instead of can view hidden links, we should say, because we're filtering that, we're going to say should filter invisible links. And by default, it's going to be true. And if this is the case, then it should be false, right? should filter invisible links if their created by is not the same as the user ID. Yeah, if they're the same, no. Okay, cool. So if should filter invisible links, we're going to say displayed links equals links.filter, where the link.visible is only shown. And we're going to return displayed links. Okay, this is good. Hello, is there any way to send Gmails to a person using .NET? Well, I bet there is, but I haven't worked with .NET in a long time. There has to be a service for that. All right, should filter invisible links. Filter only the ones where the visible is true. Otherwise, this is not going to happen, for example, for me if I see my collection. Okay, get links for collection looks sound to me right now. So let's go back to the page and actually refactor this whole block. I already have these links. I'm going to remove these. See, there's also an error here. If an error happens, error loading links, but let's just say this. And we don't need this as well. And these are going to be displayed links. So we're not even going to need the authentication service. We just need this. Grab the displayed links. What is it? Oh, there is a fingerprint now. So displayed links. Map the link. Okay, I see. So we're gonna bring the fingerprint back into the DTO, but also this should be link.link, right? Let's destructure that, and that's gonna be the case. Nice. Okay. Collection link DTO. Actually, what am I doing? Check this out. I wanted to show you this. We have the link here, right? And we have all of these things. And this is the link DTO schema. Check this out. I'm going to bring in the link DTO schema, and I'm actually going to do z.merge, right? Link DTO schema, and bring it in. Merge does not exist. Of course it does exist. Let me see. Or can I just, I don't need to merge this. I actually just do this, and we're all gonna be happy. Let's go back to the page. There it is. Now link contains the full, link data. Or use the index. What index are you referring to? Is there like a Zod index type of thing? All right, let's see if this works. Here's be fair. Let's go to the collection page. Collections repository. Okay, so we're still doing that. Yeah, we need more refactoring. We're not done yet, but we have successfully removed. You see this? This is Superbase. We have removed Superbase references from the page, which is the presentation layer. And we have the service locator, and yeah. Okay. Yeah, this will probably fail. There's gonna be a try-catch thing here. Because if, for example, we say, we just made like a typo here, instead of X do Z, and that collection does not exist, this is gonna throw. So let's just let this is going to be collection links DTO. This is gonna be happy, but I'm actually going to move this in. I'll try. Catch. There we go. If an error happens, this is where we're going to return that error fetching links for collection. I don't know. Index of array is key. I think I lost you. I don't know where we should use the index of. Oh, where do we have that? In this case, it's the fingerprint, right? It's not the index. I know it's bad, but do I have that somewhere? Nope. I don't think I'm using the index of array. Yeah. It should be the fingerprint because the fingerprint is unique to both collections and links as well. And it's never going to be a duplicate. Yeah. Display links here. Try to get them. If an error happens, then just early return error fetching links for collection. Otherwise, just render the whole thing. In here, we can even do something like, I don't know. Check for the error. If it's if the error is like not exists, like let me see, to do check for not exists error. If yes, render the not render but return not found, because that's like a thing, right? Not found is an action. There it is. It's a function in Next.js that allows you to. It's still an exception. It throws, but it's going to redirect the user to. It's going to redirect the user to a not found page, which you can define in Next.js. Cool. So this should be good, but check this out. Because we're using the collections service here, and we're trying to get the collection, the DTOs are still in there. But what am I building? I'm building a collection, a link sharing app and link shortener app. But this stream is about how to achieve like a good architecture in Next.js so that we can, test the like the services, test the whole thing. That's all. All right, so we have more refactoring to do. This is the collection link repository. Let's go to the collections repository. Yeah, there we go. Collection DTO is here. You need to bring in the schema and just do parse. This is fast. Schema, parse. Let me see. Are we using the DTO? Yes, we are using the DTO. Where are we using the DTO? Oh yeah, in the promises. So I can't just do replace. Actually, I can do replace. Yeah. I'm going to do that for the links repository. I'm going to go all the way up. Link DTO schema. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to select all of these and actually do. It's going to be slow. The plugin is a bit slow. Schema. Parse. There we go. Yeah, right. It doesn't actually work. Okay. Nice try. I should learn to use set link visibility. And we need to implement this method as well. But the schema is here it's refactored. Those were the repositories. Let's go to the collection service. Do we have any issues here? No, because the DTOs are only being used in the repositories. Okay. That's good. Okay, so can we... Yeah, there we go. We can check this. So this is my collection. And if you remembered, none of these are visible. So I'm just going to leave my YouTube channel, for example. But refreshing, because I'm logged in, we can see all of these. If I open this in an incognito window, we're going to see all of them. And we were not supposed to see all of them. I'm not logged in here. So let me debug this. Let's go back to the page and get a breakpoint going on. Run this with a debugger. Hit refresh and let's see what happens. Cool. Give me the collection service and give me the collection. Do we have a collection? And this is I need to do this before in case if it's a link, I just need to redirect to the original URL. But if it's a collection, I want to render the page. This page does that. Okay. Wait, hold on. If there is no collection, yeah, redirect. But we do have a collection. So let's try to get the links first. Wait. Fingerprint page. Let's try that again. Move all the way down. Okay, something's weird. I'm gonna put a breakpoint here. Get inside. Put a breakpoint here. Hit continue. Now we'll try to get the links for that collection. And we do have the fingerprint here. Yes, which is correct. Get inside. Give me the authentication service. Give me the user. And it's going to throw. So yeah, we forgot to put the breakpoint there as well. Do that again. Authentication service. We're gonna try to get the user, but an error will happen, and we're just gonna jump straight here with where the links are. Bam. That's good. That means we don't have a user, and should filter invisible links is set to true. So give me all of the links. Oh, there we go. There we go. This is where the error happens. I believe there's a mistake here. Collection link repository, get links for collection. Interesting. So I'm gonna get here and here. Do another refresh. Move from here, move from here. This is gonna skip. This is the place. Get links for collection. And we have an array. Is the... Oh, look at that. You see the links? That's the case. And the schema.parse will actually... So what does this mean? This means that if we run this as a logged in user, the link is not going to be null. In a way, we don't need that flag anymore, right? Because in this case, joining the link table is only going to happen for visible. How is that? Why are these? Let me just double check again. This is interesting. Come on now. So the only visible is the YouTube channel, but the other ones are null. And is that what we did? Yeah, only the YouTube channel is visible, but these are not. Okay, I know what's going on. I know what's going on. Check this out. I'm gonna go to the authentication policies, and these are row level security policies that I created for the app, where the link table, see that? The link table, god damn it, actually, no, it's not that one, does that by itself. See? Authenticated cannot, not that one, but let's say authenticated can read only their own, right? But the public or unauthenticated users can only read visible. That's why we get null. That's why we get null. Row level security policies help us, achieve that. So that's the case. Yeah, that is. We can just filter out that thing here. Okay, good to know. Good to know. So we're not gonna need all that extra logic. What we're going to need to do is figure out how we want to handle this. Do we want to filter that out? We don't want to filter that out in the service, right? The get links for collections should just return an array of links, not null links, but actual links. So we should do that filtering here. Yeah, I'm gonna put a breakpoint here now, and I'm gonna run the app again, and let's make sure that the data that we're returning, that was a ZOD error, by the way, the thing that we saw on the screen. This is a ZOD error, invalid type, expected an object but received null because the link was null, right? And the schema, and it also says that, yeah, the link was null because the schema actually does not set the link to be optional or null. Yeah. All right. Let's do that again in incognito. There we go. We hit this breakpoint. Move on again and again. And now the non-null links is going to be an array of only one element, which is the YouTube channel, right? Now if we try to parse this, everything works fine, but we don't need the displayed links as well. We don't need to be doing this, should filter invisible is true. There we go, because we're we're not authorized. So this is gonna just spin for no reason, right? The displayed link is still gonna be that one little element. So even if I just continue, okay, I need these breakpoints. I need to delete all of these now because we don't actually need them. There we go, YouTube channel. But because we don't want to spin and loop through, here's the service collection link service. We don't want to do that here. This is going to be the displayed links. Display or displayed. Yeah, I'm going to do display. So what do we don't care about the should filter invisible. Damn it. Displayed links are there. Let me just go back to collection link service. We don't need this because we don't care about that. Then we have the collection. We don't even need this. The whole thing. Look at that. Right? Refresh this YouTube channel. Go back to the actual authenticated state. Ah, you see that? Okay, we need to debug this furthermore. Get links for collection. So this means if I get the YouTube channel here and not the other ones, this means that I have an issue in my row level security policy. That is the link repository. That is going to be the case. If I hit refresh in the authenticated here, here we are. Let's see the data. The data, yeah, these are null. Okay, interesting. Interesting. I need to fix that. Public can read only visible, but authenticated can update only their own. And if I edit this policy, it's gonna be this. Select authenticated dot auth.uid equals to the created by, and created by matches, should match the UID because that's how we set it up. Collection link. This is the collection. And it's created by this user, which is just me. And all of these links, RC, KW, and AB. Let's go back to the public one. AB, RC, and KW, all of these three are created by me again. So the row level security policy is wrong in this case. Or is it this one, the collection link? Public can read it all. Oh, there we go. Maybe we're okay. Even better. So check this out. Because we're not actually pulling from the link table. We're actually pulling from the collection table. See that? Public can read only visible. If I edit this, let's see. Visible equals true. If it's public, but we need one more maybe. For the select. And it's going to be authenticated. And it's just going to be true. This name is going to be authenticated can read all. Technically, it's not going to be like visible is true, but just let's see. Before I'm actually going to... No, it's not the case. Yeah, this is a bug in my application. I don't think I need to bore you with this, but authenticated, I'm just going to delete this policy. See, yeah, these two should not be the case. Like we have public can read it all and public can read only visible. This is not okay. So I'm just going to do this. I'm going to delete these two policies. And if I go refresh, oh, I probably need to, yeah, probably need to like apply or reset the database. This is going to make me recreate the collection of links, but let me just, I need to do this in order to validate that, you know, the thing that we deleted and should bring back actually works. Okay. Let's go back now. No collections, no nothing. That means there's no user as well. So I'm going to sign out or just go straight back. There we go. npm run dev. I don't think we're going to debug this. There we go. Hit sign in. GitHub, so it creates an account for me. Hello stream. This is definitely a fun stream series. There we go. We don't have any links, so let's create a bunch of them. youtube.com/Nikolov Lazar's YouTube channel. Enter doesn't work. I need to fix that. But there we go. Now let's create one more. Twitter.com/Nikolov Lazar. Twitter account. And let's also bring back the website. Personal website. Hit submit. Okay, we have 3 links, but I'm going to remove the, make the personal website hidden. So if I go back, I can see the 3 of them because I'm logged in. But if I go to incognito, I can still see the 3 of them. Yeah, and now we're going to bring back the filtering. I think this should be handled by the row level security policy. But for the sake of functioning right now, I'm just gonna go for it. Right? The idea with the row level security is that this data won't even get out of the database if the user is not supposed to see it. But I'm still going to, let's see, yeah, we're gonna do that here. Okay, this was the repository, that's the collection link service, authentication, user, give me the collection, should filter the invisibles. There we go. These are going to be the links, display links. If this is true, filter them out. Yeah. Okay, so let's do that test again. We should see the personal website here, and we do. But if I reload, oh, probably close the window. If I open it in private, in incognito, we should not see that here. God damn it, we still see it. Okay, we need to debug it. Next.js, debug, put a breakpoint here, actually here, so we can see pretty much everything. And I'm gonna open this in incognito now, and let's see what happens. There we are. So should filter invisible is true. The links that we get back are only, they're both visible. How is that? Collection link repository. This is the thing. It filters out the non-null, but why is that null? Hold on. We're actually right. Yeah, oh my god. We are actually right. We don't see it here in incognito, but when I hit reload, we should see 3 instead of 2. Hit reload here, go back. Links are 3 now, and they're all valid. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, so now we are in a working condition. Cool. We see the personal website here, but if we go, did I lose it again? Yeah, if we go in incognito, I hate this. What's up with this? Should we filter these? No. What do you... I'm gonna close this. There we go. So maybe the window in the background did something weird. But I'm gonna reload. We hit this, right? We see that the links do contain the 3 of them, which is good. should filter invisible is false. And there's one more. Why are there two? And now should filter is true. Right, so the links, there are three. One of them is not visible. This is false now. What is going on? So created by is 99C, user ID is 9. How is... You see, I do have a user. No way. I don't have a user in incognito. See? Hold on a second. Does this mean that... oh my god. Does this mean that the service locator cached the authentication service? Is that the case? Get user here. How is this? I should not have a... I'm in incognito. How is this? Cookies? No cookies. Yeah, you see? Try restarting the app. Well, I can't do that, but it's still gonna happen, you know? Because this .superbase... Oh, is that the case? Let me see. Superbase equals create client. I'm gonna move it here. And I'm gonna use this one now. I'll bring back the debugging mode. I'm gonna hit reload here. So when it asks me for the user is now null, which is correct, right? So should filter should be true. Continue. Okay, again. Data is null. So we don't see it. But if I go back and open this collection page as a logged in user, data has that user. So create client. Yeah, you see that here. When we instantiate, when we do create client in the constructor, and we create it as a, oh my god, and we create it as a logged in user, that's gonna get cached. So this .superbase is gonna be a client for an authenticated user. We cannot do this. There we go. We must always see. We should recreate Superbase just to be safe, because it's going to... Okay, so you see this, like, caching is fine for the services, but we do run into an issue where the Superbase client was cached, and therefore it introduced all of, like, it introduced a nasty bug for us. Okay, save this now. I have confidence that this is gonna work, so I'm just going to remove this breakpoint and just continue. Okay, refresh here. There we go. We see the 3 links. Refresh here, we only see the 2. So Superbase needs to be recreated. Oh my god. This is a, yeah. Superbase needs to be recreated. So that makes us go into all of the repositories, and where we have Superbase, instead of doing that in the constructor, we actually need to do that everywhere. Interesting. See that? So these repositories, yeah. Okay. We did not see that coming. We did not see that coming. Okay. And this is just Superbase though. For example, if you're working with a different type of database, you're not gonna need to, you won't need to do this most likely, because you'll just have like one connection and that's it. Superbase also handles authentication and authorization because it has all these like row level securities. And if you use Drizzle, you should not be doing this. Like instantiating, you know, Drizzle into the constructor will be just fine. Yep. What else is there? And the links, most likely. There we go. Okay, so Superbase needs to be created in every method. Otherwise, we're gonna run into those issues. But if we were to use Drizzle or like just a data, because Superbase is not a database. It's not a database library. It's a database and authentication. So if you have those separated in your app, you're not gonna have these issues. What is that? Oh yeah. Collection link, duplicated. Is it fine now? Everything is fine now. Okay, let's see that. I got the 3 here. I got the 2 here, and here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna open this in incognito and put it on the site. And this is incognito. This is logged in. I'm going to enable the personal website now. Link visibility changed, and if I hit reload, there we go. Now it's visible. Now I'm gonna hide Twitter. Hit reload, Twitter is gone. I'm gonna hide YouTube. There we go. So it's all working nicely. And this one, this doesn't change. Yeah, because I'm logged in and I can see all the hidden links. I should just like label them that like they're hidden, you know, so I know what the users see. But that's a different type of stream. Okay. Whew. So we got rid of the classic DTOs. That's done. We got rid of the classic DTOs and we replaced them with Zod schemas because they allowed us to use the parse method to return a plain JavaScript object instead of a class. Because Next.js does not like to receive class instances because it doesn't know how to parse them. It also doesn't enforce the to JSON and like JSON.serialize. It doesn't do that. Under the hood, we thought that it might do that, but it doesn't do that under the hood. So that's good to know, you know. Okay. That was an interesting thing. We need to move on now to the service locator and the circular dependency issue. So we're going to talk about circular dependency issues in the service locator that we have. So I'm gonna go back to eraser, and I'm gonna yeah, let's do this. We have service A, right? And that service A, let's say that is the links service, right? We have the links service. It takes the links repository, which is cool, but it also uses the authentication service. It also uses the, let's see, collection service. It also uses the collection link service, right? It uses all the other services. So let's do this. This is the links service. This is the collections. So links service uses collections service. And it also uses the, I'm going to say junction service, okay? Or relationship, let's say relation service. Yeah. It uses the relation service. And this is fine. But where the issue is inside of the relation service, which was the collection link service, in order to set the visibility, was it collection service? So this one also uses this one. And there we go. We also use the links service to check on the link. And this is that circle, right? And before today, we were creating the these collections service and the link service. We were doing that in the constructor, okay? And I'm gonna show you how it looks like. We're gonna do private collections service. Actually, I'm just gonna do links service, links service, and we'll say this dot links service equals service locator dot get service links service, right? There we go. So when we actually use that, instead of doing this, we actually use the link service. I don't need to replace that. This is what we did. So now go back to link service. We also use the junction service here. You see, collection link service. And this is in the add a link or create link. So when we create a link, we can optionally pass in a collection fingerprint, which means create this link and immediately add it to this collection, right? It's a good functionality. I don't want to make two API requests for that. I just want to have one. Create the link, and I'm also going to pass in the collection fingerprint because I know that beforehand. So that's happening, right? That means if we want to add the link to the collection, from the link service, which is where the create link is, we need a reference to that. So we need to create right here inside of this dot collections link service. I'm gonna say that private is gonna be a collection link service. There we go. This is how we had, you know, the services. This is how we set up the services. In the constructors, we also instantiated all the other ones. And the service locator gets all confused. So let's say that we are instantiating the links service, right? Somewhere in the code we have get service links service. So it's going to get into this method here. It'll try to get the from the service cache. It doesn't exist, right? Cool. Let's create it. So it's going to get into the service factory, obtain the creation method for this service, and then just invoke it. So the service factory is here, right? And here's the links service. Repository, we don't care about that, but it's going to invoke the constructor because we have a new, right? New link service, and we pass in the links repository. It's going to invoke the constructor of the links service. So let's get inside. Then we have another service locator dot get service, and we pass the collection link service. Okay, let's do that again. Do we have it cached? No, we don't have it cached. So let's just create it. Go to the factory, find that by name, collection link service. There we go. Create the repository. Cool, cached it. But now let's also invoke the collection link service constructor, because this is how we create the service. Let's go in. Here's the constructor. Oh, service locator. Give me the service based on the name links service, right? At this point, we don't have the link service cached now because we didn't finish creating it, right? So it's just going to get into a loop. Is it cached? It's not cached. Then go to the factory and do the whole thing again. Here's the link service. Oh, there is a collection link service. So get it again. Yeah, it's going to be annoying. So that is a circular dependency. And I ran into that issue right here where the, let me just move this here to make it more obvious, where the links service requested the relation service and the relation service requested the links service. And there's the, yeah, we need to break out this because we will never create these services. So one way to do that is, as you see how I approached it, do not create the service or do not create the pending services in the constructor. So break that out from the links, go back to the collection link service, delete it again, and just use the collection, where is it? The service locator to grab an instance of the collections service, for example, or whatever service you need in the moment you need it. One way, that's one way, right? So that when we ask for the collection link service, we're gonna pass the collection link repository and we're done. Okay, so that means the constructor will finish and it will, the service locator will add it to the cache and it'll just return it. Cool. And then later on, when we want to do set visibility, that's when we're actually going to create the collections service if it hasn't been created yet. Or we're going to just obtain it from the cache, right? So that way, we still have ability, you know, to use the relation service inside of the link service and vice versa. We still have that ability, but we broke out the circular dependency issue because we're not creating that service in the constructor. There's one way to go. The other way to go about this is if you were to avoid using services, other services inside of these services. Felipe, can I ask a question outside the scope of this live, or maybe there will be a Q&A section? I didn't plan to do a Q&A, but you can ask away if I don't answer the question now. You can just like try joining the Discord server, creatures.sh, and we can talk there as well if you want. But yeah, in another way is these not to exist. So we only have services that don't depend on each other, right? The like presentation layer uses these, but they do not use them, they do not use each other. Maybe we can make an exception for the authentication service. And that one can be used by all of these services because it's a generic authentication service. In this case, we can see that we have a hierarchy of services. If there was another one right here, we can easily use them and use them in multiple services. But this looks like, what is it? What does this look like? This looks like a rule where all of the services can only depend on a level up service, right? On a service that is a level like higher up, but they cannot depend on, on services that are on the same level as them. So you can also do this. You can also achieve this. If you have a functionality, for example, we saw in the link service, we had a create link, but we also needed some functionality that is defined in the relation service, right? Add link to collection. That's a relation right there. In that case, what you can do is, let's go back to the links service. We have a links repository, right? We can avoid that by adding the relation repository, the junction table repository, and instead of invoking the service here, if the collection exists, invoke the collection link service. Instead of doing this here, we can just use whatever this function does. You see, it does use the collection service, link service. It does check for authorization and stuff like that. But this is the core functionality. It uses the collection link repository and invokes it with the two arguments. So we can like copy this block, bring in the collection link repository inside of this service as well. We don't limit services to only use one repository. Services can use, any repositories they want. The repositories are not bound to just one service. So instead of doing this, we can just say, yeah, there we go. This is the relation, right? Collection link repository, just pull it from the constructor there. No issue with that. And then just invoke this and do the check yourself inside of the service. That way, the services do not depend on each other, except for maybe the authentication, right? Other random service. That way, these do not depend on each other because like these are the core functionality and these are like some helper services that has nothing to do with the business logic, but of course authentication is important in our application and it's being used in all of the services, right? That's different in this case, right? It's gonna work just fine. And now the idea is, how should you approach it? This way forces us to re-implement some of the logic. For example, in this case, if we have a collection, I'm just simply invoking the collection link service and I offload all of the responsibilities to this service. Does it need to check for authorization? Like, is this your collection or is this your link? For example, you're creating a link, but I cannot let you create a link on my collection because it's going to show up on my page, right? It's not yours. Your collection contains your links only. If we were to take this approach with the hierarchy of services, we would need to re-implement logic from the relation service back into the link service and vice versa, right? So services will implement everything. They'll use repositories, but that's about it, right? If we have, for example, add link to collection is, let me just actually check, just to be sure. Yeah, you see that we're using this in the collection actions, but we're also using this in the links service, but it's defined in the collection link service, in the relation service, right? So we're using this in two places. We can't, if we were just to use it in one place, we would just move the functionality there, but that's not the case, right? That's not the case. Relation service should handle the relation between specific links and collections. We can just move it to the links service. So yeah, you can take this approach as well, but what I did was just pull out all of the services. Instead of creating them in the constructor, we can just create them in, whenever we need to. And this also looks like the same issue we had with Superbase just like minutes ago, right? We created the Superbase, what we thought was a DB instance in the constructor, but the Superbase DB instance also pulls in the authentication service that itself has inside. So when we cached the first instance and we tried that with a logged in user and with a specific user, we basically cached Superbase for all of the users, for all of the sessions. For example, if I'm the first one to log in and do something, it's just all of you, when you come to the page, you're going to be treated as me. So there's not going to be an authentication really, right? That's the case. So looking at this would have been, this is basically Superbase as well. We just didn't use the service locator.getService to obtain the Superbase service, but it's the same thing, right? We're pulling it here where we need to. The service locator does have caching in place, but there's nothing cached in here. For example, we're caching the repository, and the repository is fixed for, it's the same for all of the users, for all of the sessions, etc. Unless it's not. In that case, we need to do something else to the service locator. Because, for example, if premium users use a premium, for example, repository, and free users use a free repository, when we instantiate collections service, we also need to do some, branching logic inside of the get service here. Does the service exist? Yeah, but then you also need to check for, the different type of user, or whatever is the factor that makes that makes one collection service not the same as the other one. Oh, X9, yeah, I know, thanks. I was supposed to change it, but didn't have time. But yeah, that's the circular dependency issue that I ran into yesterday. And the way that the approach that I took for the to break out that circular dependency is to just move all of these service the service locator .get service commands inside of the functions themselves. And it did introduce, more code. For example, I need to get this one and I need to get this one. In reality, it's just like I should have just done this dot, and there we go. But that caused the circular dependency. And I really looked into the hierarchical way of setting up your services, but I think that would be a much more work than just doing this. So in order to fix that, we would just do this. We would request all of the We'll just request all of the, let me just put a marker here. Request all of these services at the time we need them, not in the constructors. Okay, and this is like, if we are looking at this from a performance standpoint, it's even better, right? For example, when I create the collection link service, we have the both cases here, we have both cases here, we have both cases here, again both cases here. Is there any way? There we go. So we see we have the get links for collection. We don't use the links service here. We only use the collection service. If it was in the constructor, then we will just create it there, right? And not use it. Create it, cache it, not use it. So yeah, this makes things a bit more optimized, if you ask me. But from that performance standpoint, from DX standpoint, you do need to do this all the time, which is just like, luckily for us, it's just a one-liner, and it seemed a lot more simpler than just, figuring this out and re-implementing parts of the relation service inside of the link service so I can add the link to the collection. Yeah. Okay, so that might change though. That might change because we want to write tests, right? Let me see this. Links service. We have the create link, right? So let's see how we can test this. When we start writing tests, and we were planning to do that today, but we might not end up having enough time to, do something meaningful regarding tests. So that means there's most likely going to be a stream on Friday as well. But when we start writing tests, the repositories and all of these services will need to be mocked, right? So when we go to get service and when we want to create a specific service, the repository itself is what interacts with the database. And when we are in testing environment, we do not have a database, right? At least initially, like you don't need a database for the unit tests. That means we need to implement different set of repositories, which are not going to be using the Superbase stuff under the hood, but they're going to be using like an in-memory database, which is just an object, an array of data, etc. So we're going to be playing with that later. And the service locator, get or create repository, it needs to know when to create and return the like actual production repository or create the mock repository. So we need to do some logic right here, some branching right here, most likely here in the service factory, right? For example, in order to instantiate the collection service, we need the collections repository. And what I'm thinking is we can do if process.env.node environment is test. There we go. You see that? Instantiate mock collections repository, right? The collections repository returns an interface, iCollections repository. It does not return the specific implementation of the repository. So even if we do that, we're still going to, nothing changes, right? Because we're using an interface, everything else stays the same, but the implementation itself will not use a database. It will just use like a simple array with elements pre-populated, and the functions like create link, remove link, all of those things, they'll just be they're just going to be plain functions that add, modify, and remove things from the array. So for example, if we were to run those tests in a GitHub action, we're not gonna need a Superbase instance inside of the action to run those tests, right? So that's what I'm thinking about. Like these unit tests should test this service. And that's why the repositories do not do anything related to logic other than in, writing, updating, and reading from the database. So that is the general idea of what I think we should do in this case. We already have the node environment variable. As you see, we have development, we have production, and we also have tests. So when we invoke the tests, we'll just set the node environment to be the tests. And all of these services will be created with mock repositories instead of the real repositories. So we can write the tests then. And we have like 20 minutes. First, I want to just save everything except for the Superbase migration. I'll just push it. Work in progress, saving progress, it doesn't matter. You should be writing better commit messages, but I'm the only one that works on this project, so. Okay, let's start looking into that. What I would do is just copy the whole collections repository. This whole block. And instead of doing this, I would just, put that in an array or something like that. We have the data right here. That's it. We have an EQ that's going to be a filter, etc. Right? Like search and replace type of thing. But everything else will stay the same. And the collection DTO schema is going to stay the same because it doesn't, it's a ZOD schema. It doesn't depend on the database type, etc. Yeah, everything will stay the same, except we're not going to be doing these blocks. We're going to be invoking something else that modifies the, stuff in the database. And the database can be instantiated here. The array can be instantiated in the constructor itself. So let's try that. This is the collection repository. If I go to collection service, create collection, uses the authentication service. Again, we also need to mock that as well, authentication service. Yeah, we're gonna need to mock that as well. Maybe we should start with that one because every other service uses that one. So when we say get user, we'll just return a plain object basically. Or if the user is not logged in, yeah. Sign in with provider, all these things. Yeah. Let's start with this one actually. I'm gonna create a new folder right here called mock, and I'm gonna copy this one into the mock folder, and I'm actually gonna rename it to mock authentication service. I'm gonna export it as mock authentication service, and I'm not gonna use anything that has to do with Superbase. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. We have a get user, and this get user is based on cookies. We can't really mock cookies, but we can keep like a track of what is the current user here in the constructor. If there's an error, check if not logged in, throws exception. Yeah, we need to check that. If there's an error, we need to, if the user does not exist, we need to throw. That's what we need to check. Otherwise, we are returning just these two, ID and role, and these are both strings, and role can also be, it's any because it doesn't know. Role can also be like optional. We don't even use role, to be honest. We just have it there. So I'm going to do a private underscore user, and it's going to have ID string role string, right? And in this case, because this is async, the mock authentication service is basically not going to be waiting on any operations because everything is going to be here. So yeah. If this user does not exist, we need to throw an error, right? What was the HTTP status? Unauthenticated. 401 versus 403. Unauthorized is a different thing. Forbidden is, let's see. Or bad requests. Let's just throw. Let's throw 400 then. Bad requests. And there's not going to be a cause in this case, and the cause is only important in the presentation. Oh, damn it. Okay. Here we go. Otherwise, we want to return this user ID and role. Or undefined. There we go. Then we have signed in with provider. We do like a redirect, but we're not going to be doing that. We can just like say, did we have a utility function? Yeah, we might need like a utility function to trigger like a timeout. I'm gonna call this wait export const wait. We'll bring in the number of milliseconds, and it's going to return a promise of void. And this function is going to return a promise, a new promise, take in the reject and what was the resolve, there we go, and do set timeout, resolve, and then pass in the milliseconds. Okay, is this correct? Set timeout, resolve it after that many milliseconds, but this is an ESLint issue. Okay, I don't need the type most likely because it'll just infer it. Oh, equals, there we go. So wait will return a promise of unknown in this case. But let me just type it out to be void. Nice. So there's our wait function. We can do something like await wait. There it is, and like wait for. Hey, oh my god, we have a meeting? Why did I thought? You're actually right. All right. We're gonna finish this on Friday. Finish mocking. But just to be sure, we are gonna keep mocking this because we want to write tests. All right. So sorry for the abrupt ending, but thank you all for tuning in. It was a really productive stream. So Yeah, I'm gonna see you all on Friday at the same time, 10 a.m. Eastern time. This is fun. All right, people. Yeah, take care. Bye bye.